Have you ever spent hours crocheting something beautiful and then never really worn it? Today I'm going to share with you how to build a beautiful crochet summer wardrobe that you will wear over and over again. Hi, I'm Rosanna from Moara Crochet, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some of my own tips on how you can create a summer wardrobe that you will wear over and over again. What does that mean? These are pieces that are versatile, timeless pieces you will love. So the first tip I would give you is you want to look for pieces that are versatile. Now I talk about this a lot throughout my videos of pieces being crochet conscious. What does that mean? That means that pieces that you consciously think about that you will wear more than one season, more than one way. So you're looking for items which are very versatile, which can be dressed up, can be dressed down, can be worn in those transitional seasons. So for me, that is going to be a few tops. Now I want tops which I can wear with jeans, with skirts, I can style differently. Maybe a top that if I turn it, it's a different style. It's also about creating pieces that are for layering. So for example, today I'm wearing a cardigan that I've created, and I like this piece because I can layer this. So today, I know we're talking about an summer wardrobe, but today I'm in autumn because I'm in the southern hemisphere. And this is a really good layering pieces because when I go outside in the warm autumnal sun or in early spring sun or the summer sun, I can still wear this item. I can either wear this as it is quite long on the beach with a dress, with a bikini, with jeans, with a skirt. It is a piece I can use in multiple ways. Also, when I'm thinking about my summer pieces, I want items that are light and breathable. So I'm going to choose things which have a bit more of a lacy design, so I get that really fresh feeling when I'm wearing it. I don't feel too hot, I don't get clammy, and I can just feel like I'm wearing something that is giving me that little bit of coverage, but is also keeping me cool and fresh. Now this leads me straight into my next point of choosing the right fibres. For summer, we tend to go more towards the plant fibres, which is going to include cotton, obviously, linen mixes, and silks. Even can go to bamboo as well. Why we choose those fabrics is one, they're very light, they're breathable, they're fresh, and they're cooling against the skin. So when you make your next crochet summer item, carefully think about which yarn you're going to use. Now, not all yarns are the same, so you could have one cotton yarn from one company and one from another, and one can be so light and soft and the other can be actually quite coarse and harsh and heavy. So also be aware when you're choosing your fibres, which one do you want against your skin in those hot climates. Now the best way to do this is you do a swatch. Wash your item a few times, especially if it's linen, because when you buy linen yarn, it's actually very hard to touch. It can feel very coarse and it can also feel a bit itchy. But once you wash it and you give it a little bit of a rub, that will give that item time to relax, and the more you wash linen, the better it gets with age. So I'm going to show you now the difference between some cottons. Now these are all cotton yarns. I'm going to try and get this in focus here with the light. This is a merchandise cotton which is twisted, very glossy, beautiful, and it's almost got a silk texture. Then I'm going to show you, now this is quite a cheap cotton I can get here in Brazil. We get that out of the sunlight. And this is actually very soft. It is a soft yarn and it does feel quite nice against the skin. And the third one is quite expensive, more expensive cotton, and it actually feels really harsh, almost like linen. But I know, I know when I wash this cotton, it's going to get softer and softer and softer. So even between the same plant fiber, you can get a really big variation. So just be aware when you're choosing cotton yarns, which one would be the best suited for your item for summer. The third thing when you're thinking about your crochet summer wardrobe is to think about the fit. Now, for summer, you want to choose items which are not too tight, unless you're going for a crop top, then you do want that silhouette figure. But I find with some items, you want things which either don't have sleeves, or you want an item which is quite movable, is quite boxy, it's got that movable air around it, doesn't feel too tight against you. So think about these points when you're choosing your pattern. Especially for me, I would tend to choose crochet tops which have more of a boxy style for summer, because I can feel like I'm a bit dressed up but I'm not too restricted. The next thing I would say is choose colors you love. Now for me, when I'm building my sustainable crochet wardrobe, I want items that are going to fit into my wardrobe with many other items. So I tend to steer away from really bold colors when I'm doing my crochet items, because I want items that will go with many of my outfits. So for me, my classic is always to go for off-white, because this is a color which goes with anything, and it's a classic crochet color. And I have had this cardigan now for over 3 years, and it still goes with everything, and I know I have got many years ahead of me with this crochet item. So carefully choose your colors. Maybe for you it's going to be a hot pink, and that's a color you always go for it. Just choose colors that will combine with your existing wardrobe. The next thing I want to talk about is texture. When you're choosing items for summer, I will always choose a design which has texture, and I'm quite picky about the texture I choose. For example, here I've got like a diamond shape here, and it's quite open. Now the reason I will choose texture over just a basic double crochet all the way along is for 2 reasons. First, if I have something which is more open, I'm going to feel cooler. Okay, now I know with a double crochet top you can have that bit more coverage, you know, the stitches are going to block out all of it, you're not going to have such a lacy design, so that is one advantage. But the second reason I would never ever wear a full double crochet top is that it becomes very stiff and actually very boxy, and I don't feel like you get that really nice fluid movement. So again, I choose my stitches carefully, and I will always try to choose stitches which have a diagonal slant in different ways. Why? Because your fabric's not just going to fall straight. You've got those movements of different angles, which is going to help your item move fluidly and be a bit more organic and flow better around your body. So I will always go for a pattern with angles in rather than the straight one. And those are the tops which I always go back to over and over again, because they curve beautifully. The second reason why I will go for items with a pattern is because subtle pattern, is timeless. Look at these patterns that I'm using today. This can go back to the 80s, to the 70s. You can even find patterns similar to this going back to the 40s or the 20s. It is a timeless design. And if it's timeless then, it's still going to be timeless in the future. So I know this is an item that I will wear for many years. And even when my daughter grows up, maybe she will wear it as well. So I will tend to choose more simple pattern designs to create a more timeless item. And the final thing which we need to think about is when we're creating our own wardrobe, especially our summer wardrobe, you don't need to be in a rush. Okay, summer's coming, but these are items you're making by hand. You're making stitch by stitch, and within each stitch you're catching a moment of your time, of your life, of your skill. And that's not to be rushed. These items can last a lifetime and maybe more. So you don't need to rush in creating a whole wardrobe in 1 year. Why not plan to create something really special, maybe 1 or 2 items per season that you know you will go back to over and over again. For me, I've been gradually creating my own sustainable crochet wardrobe for over 10 years. And even going back to some of the first original pieces that I have here in my cabinet, I still wear them because I wasn't in a rush and I was happy for me to take the time and create something truly special. Following up from this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 crochet patterns that I would recommend to make for a summer wardrobe, and that will be linked up in next week's video with the Ravelry bundle. Now, I'd love to know, if you're building your own crochet sustainable wardrobe, what would your first item be? Let me know in the comments and I would love to see your opinions. Okay, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and I will see you in the next crochet video. Bye!